going to discuss the importance of conducting outreach through professional contacts. Approximately 80% of job offers result from networking efforts versus a cold application on a website. This means effective networking is crucial to both job search and career building success. In addition to building relationships that can lead to job offers and venture development opportunities, networking is a valuable way to learn more about potential career paths and specific roles in an organization. Meeting more informally with alumni, representatives of a company, and other contacts during the recruitment process prior to your formal interviews is often called informational interviewing. This is one of the most powerful methods of networking. By reaching out to industry contacts to learn more about them, you build relationships and position yourself as a knowledgeable and engaged candidate. And when a role opens up in their organization or even in their own personal network, your informational interview contacts are likely to have you top of mind. Let's be honest though, networking is not everyone's favorite activity and can feel daunting. Getting started by identifying the right people, figuring out how and when to reach out, and thinking of the right questions and how to follow up can be difficult. In this video, we're going to look at one of the most important aspects of this process, how to start this outreach and how to prepare for conversations. So let's start with the outreach stage and explore effective steps you'll want to take to secure informational interviews. First, you'll want to leverage your industry and functional focus and target individuals who represent the closest match. If you're still cultivating your focus, that's okay. Informational interviews are a great way to help you learn and refine it. Simply zero in on areas that are currently most interesting to you. Secondly, begin by making a list of relevant contacts. While many students are eager to start reaching out to our alumni population, you might want to start closer to home. Most students have found it useful to begin their informational interviews right here with second-year students or fellow first years that have experience in industries or organizations of interest. As you move on from this group to target working professionals, start to build your list of contacts. You can start with some of our internal databases like GPS Recruiting and GPS Online to see where students have gone to work for internships and full-time jobs. Think outside of our business school community to augment your outreach target list. Find contacts on LinkedIn with diversity organizations and professional associations, and even within your own personal network. Third, most students find it helpful to devise a tracking system to prioritize their outreach. Spreadsheets are typically the most popular method, but most importantly, find a system that works for you and that is easy to maintain. It will be important to track contact names, dates of outreach, and follow-up, and any action items related to your contacts. Next, decide how and where you'd like to conduct your informational interviews. Meeting in person builds a stronger interpersonal dynamic, and while it's always encouraged, it's obviously not always possible. Phone conversations are completely acceptable and quite common. Next, you'll want to draft and send outreach emails to your informational interview contacts. I'll introduce Julia to take a closer look at how to do this most effectively.
Your outreach emails should be short and concise. One tip that I've learned from my interactions with peers and several alumni is keeping messages short enough so that they can be read in their entirety on a smartphone screen. Be sure to mention your connection to the contact, whether it is through Owen, your undergraduate institution, or a LinkedIn group. Be specific about what you want from your conversation while asking for a reasonable amount of time. 20 minutes is typical for an informational interview. Anything longer may seem daunting from a scheduling perspective. This next piece is really important. Try not to mention jobs in your outreach. The objective of your request should be gathering information about an industry, function, or organization, and capturing professional insight from the contact. The networking process is about building relationships, not individual transactions. Asking about or for a job has the risk of crossing the line of networking etiquette and may alienate your contact from being responsive. It's also important to remember to keep your outreach free of errors. In most cases, this will be your first impression in an alumnus, and even though you are in the networking phase as opposed to the formal job search process, you are being evaluated during each interaction. Use your peer coaches, CMC coaches, or others to help review emails before sending them out. So, what should your subject line be? An effective method or go-to is using the point of connection as a subject line. For instance, if you're emailing an alum of our program, use Owen Graduate School of Management or Vanderbilt Owen as your subject line. If you're reaching out to an alum of our undergraduate alma mater, use the name of that institution. You can do the same thing with LinkedIn groups or other communities you're leveraging as your network. Here is what an effective outreach message could look like for a student. Identify yourself as a business school student of Owen program, making the connection to this alum in the first sentence. You will want to write where you found the contact information, why you would like to talk, and what you hope to get out of the conversation. Ask for 20 minutes of time and suggest specific days for a potential conversation. Last but not least, don't forget to say thank you. So, what do you do if your contact has not returned your email? It is completely appropriate to follow up 5 to 7 business days after your initial message if you have not received a response. Your follow-up message should be brief and concise. It should also acknowledge the busy schedule of your contact while giving them the option to reconnect at a later date if more convenient. Also, your follow-up email should include your original message below, so the reader does not have to hunt through an inbox to find it. If your contact doesn't respond after your follow-up email, move on to the other members of your target list. But based on my own experience and working with other students as a peer coach, I think you will find your response rate, especially within Owen's community, quite high.
Once you've secured commitments for your informational interviews, you can move on to the preparation stage. The single most important thing you can do to prepare for your phone call or meeting is research. First, research the individual with whom you're meeting. LinkedIn is a great way to do this. The more informed you are about a contact's background, the more context you'll have around the information they share. Secondly, research the organization where your contact works, even if it's not your dream company. Beyond the organization's website, leverage our library's electronic resources to dig deeper for information, including products and services, key competitors, and recent news. Be sure to look at the organization's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter accounts to learn more about recent news or updates, like new product launches or mergers. If the company is public, know the stock price the day of your meeting. After doing these two things, you should have a good foundation to prepare quality questions. Keep in mind, questions should be customized and reflect the research you've done on both your contact and the industry and organization. Broadly speaking, questions should focus on your contact's views and insights on the industry and the organization, perspective on the past and future career trajectory, and advice they may have for you as you consider a career in this space. In the next video, we'll talk about how to approach the actual meeting or call with your contact and the follow-up conversation.